Israel is now seeking to destroy Palestinians as a group, including by inflicting on them conditions of life calculated to bring about their destruction, by seizing ever more Palestinian territory, and by turning Gaza into an uninhabitable wasteland incapable of sustaining human life. In addition to seeking to destroy the protective application of international law to the Palestinian people, Israel appears set on destroying the very international framework created to ensure compliance with international law and accountability for its breach, with profound consequences that reverberate far beyond Palestine and Palestinians. On the 27th of March of this year, the last international staff of the United Nations Relief and Work Agency left Gaza. Given Israel's recently passed anti-UNRWA legislation, no further UNRWA staff is likely to be permitted entry. 3 days earlier, on the 24th of March, the Secretary-General of the United Nations had announced his, I quote, difficult decision to reduce the organisation's footprint in Gaza, even as humanitarian needs soar and the United Nations' concern over the protection of civilians intensifies, end quote. His decision, evocative of previous genocides in Rwanda and Bosnia, followed Israel's breach of the ceasefire agreement on the 18th of March 2025 and its resumption of its siege and large-scale assault on Gaza. As had been threatened by the Israeli Defence Minister, Israel Katz, I quote, the gates of Gaza closed and the gates of hell reopened. Israel killed almost 500 people, including more than 180 children, in the deadliest 24 hours in Gaza since October 2023. One strike on a designated UN compound killed one international UN official and injured seriously 5 others. The Secretary-General's decision to reduce the United Nations footprint in Gaza followed days later. The United Nations itself cannot keep its staff in Gaza safe from Israel because nowhere and no one is safe. The past 18 months have been the deadliest ever in the history of the United Nations. Of over 418 aid workers killed in Gaza, 295 of them were UN staff. Most of them teachers, doctors, nurses, engineers, operational staff were Palestinian. Those Palestinian staff remain in Gaza. Their own footprint is also being reduced each day as they are injured and killed. As stated by Médecins Sans Frontières, Gaza has been turned into a mass grave of Palestinians and those coming to their assistance, end quote. In the words of the Secretary-General, it is a killing field. Since March 2025, Israel has no longer even maintained the pretense of designating so-called humanitarian zones. In the last month alone, it has bombed over 20 times the tents of the displaced in Al-Mawasi, the overcrowded sandy wasteland to which it repeatedly ordered Palestinians to flee, a ground invasion of which is now reportedly imminent. As stated by UNICEF, I quote, images of children burning while sheltering in makeshift tents should shake us all to our core. The warnings of United Nations officials could not be clearer, including by the head of office for OCHA in the occupied Palestinian territory, who himself remains in Gaza. I quote variously, as humanitarian leaders, we are repeating unequivocally to the world, we are being deliberately blocked from saving lives in Gaza, and so civilians are dying. As humanitarians, we need to emphasize that we cannot accept that Palestinians are dehumanized to the point of being somehow unworthy of survival. What is happening here defies decency, it defies humanity, it defies the law. End quote. Before turning to what that law is in terms of Israel's obligations as a member of the United Nations, it's important to recall the reason for the organisation's presence and vital role in Palestine. As recently acknowledged by the Israeli Finance Minister Smotrich, I quote, "For 75% of Gaza's population, it's not their homeland. Do you know what their homeland is? Haifa, Tiberias, Accra, Jaffa. This is a refugee population that has been in Gaza since 1948, end quote. Those refugees, their children and grandchildren, have indeed been in Gaza since 1948, and in East Jerusalem, and in the rest of the West Bank, and violently scattered to the four corners of the earth since being forcibly expelled from their homes on the creation of the State of Israel. The mass displacement and dispossessions Palestinians refer to as al-Nakba, the catastrophe. They are the people, alongside those Palestinians previously long and deeply rooted in Gaza, whom Israel is bombing, starving, maiming and killing, and whom it has violently displaced over and over again for 18 long months. In the West Bank, including East Jerusalem also, Israel is subjecting to ongoing and intensifying attack that same refugee population, alongside other Palestinians, including those violently displaced previously since Israel's occupation began in 1967. Israel's ongoing mass displacements, its demolitions of homes, entire refugee camps and necessary infrastructure, and its ever-escalating killings of Palestinian men, women and children risk, in the words of the Secretary-General, transforming the West Bank into another Gaza. Having denied for 77 years the right of return of refugees,